Okay, so here we have our 3 seed trays by Sili-Seedlings, and I want to go over a little bit about how these look internally, and maybe you can help you guys decide which seed tray is best for you. We'll start with the 4 cell. So the 4 cell is the biggest. You can see here the cells are the biggest compared to the 10 cell and the 6 cell. And the purpose of that is to allow you to grow bigger plants before transplanting them. So you can see these are all similarly sized. They were all planted at the same time. But eventually the 4 cells are going to allow for a much bigger growth than either the 10 cell and the 6 cell. So let's just take one of these out. Now the beauty with the Sili-Seedlings is that you can actually just pull them out or just push through the bottom. So I prefer, it depends on how stubborn they are and how wet the soil is. I like to just pull them out if possible. But if they don't come out that easy, you can easily just push through. See, these bend because they're made of silicone. Very easy to take out. So I'll put that there. So here's the 4 cell. Okay, nice root growth, very healthy, nice white roots. The plant is healthy. This could grow in the ground now if you wanted to, but because it's got the bigger cell, you could wait. This could go a little longer if it's not ready to, if maybe it's too cold outside or where you live. These are designed to wait in the greenhouse a little longer, and then you can put them in when they're a little bit bigger. So it really depends on how dense the roots become before you can transplant these. But I would say this could go so it's been 2.5 weeks for all of these. I would say this could go another 2 weeks or so before actually planting that in the ground. Although you can do it now, no problem. All right, let's go for a 10 cell. So I'm just going to pull one of these guys out, and you can see the big difference in the roots here. They were planted at the same time. It looks like there's a lot more root growth on this one compared to this one, but the reality is that there's a lot of internal roots going on in the bigger cell compared to the smaller one. So it's sort of an illusion, right? It looks like there's a lot more root growth on this because if you look at the plant size, they're basically identical in terms of how big they are. So you can think of this many roots being in the larger cell, but you can see how much more growth can happen for the bigger cell than the smaller one. Okay, so let's take a look at the 4 cell here. I'm just going to pull one out, and this one's nice and big. They get tangled a little bit. And this is actually a huge one in here. They're about. We'll just use this one. So smaller, slightly, but not much, and nice, beautiful root growth as well, with the evenly spaced roots and so forth. So what seed tray is best for you? If you're growing quantity, if you have a lot of seeds you're starting for maybe a mini farm, or maybe you're just a really avid gardener and you have a lot of plants and you like to grow a lot and you want to give some plants away or whatever your reason, I'd go with the 10 cell because you can get 10 plants out of one tray. And these are really nifty because they have the top tab, which supports the bottom. And you can pick these up, single-handedly and really move them around. So if you're growing volume as an amateur gardener, I would go with the 10 cell. Now, if you're just beginning gardening, the best choice would be the 6 cell. These are absolutely fine. They're the most economical choice. You still get 6 in a tray. These will do fantastic in the ground. Let's take one more out, in fact. See, look how big this one is, just in a little tiny seed cell. Very, very easy to take out of the seed tray. You can pull them out because of the taper. Tangles with the others. Here's another 6 cell. Let me put this one back. These will do just fine for your garden. Whether you're a beginner or advanced, these are the most economical option, and you do get 6 in a tray. 2 things for the 4 cell. Number one is you can grow bigger plants in the 4 cell. So if you have a sort of root vegetable or something that can't be transplanted in the ground until it gets to a certain size, you're going to want to go with the 4 cell because this is going to be your best bet for longevity in the germination tray, in the Sili-Seedlings. So with this one, again, this is going to get much bigger than the 10 cell, or it can get much bigger than the 10 cell and the 6 cell because it's just by virtue of the size of the cell itself. Okay, this would probably get double the size of those two safely in the seed tray. if you want to grow big plants before transplanting, the 4-cell is going to be your best bet. The other reason to grow the 4-cell is that if you have a greenhouse, maybe the winter's lasting a little too long and you're not ready to go transplant your seeds outside yet, transplant your seedlings outside yet, the 4-cell are a nice insurance policy because you can just keep them in the seed tray and not worry about them getting root bound in the seed tray because of the size of the seed cell. So these are fantastic for those two reasons. Or if you just want to grow bigger plants before transplanting them, that's always a good insurance policy as well. The bigger the plant gets before you transplant it, the more likely it's going to be to survive the elements and so forth. Whether it's the extreme temperatures outside or bugs or birds or something like that. The bigger the plant, the healthier and more robust it's going to be in general. So one last thing about the 4-cell, since this is our newest, these ones actually have the side slits. Because it's a bigger cell, we had to add some side slits to it because the drainage is so important in these. Now the other ones do also have drainage, but because they're relatively small, the cell, the side slits aren't needed because the drainage is just fine on the other two. So you can see it there. I'm not sure if this one's in shot. Let me show again. So you can see the holes at the bottom. And in terms of putting these in bottom trays, if you're going to use bottom trays, these two are meant for perfectly fit 10 by 20 bottom trays. So you can fit 5 of the 10-cell, and these come in different colors. 5 of the 10-cell in one 10 by 20 bottom tray, and you can fit 8 of the 4-cell in a 10 by 20 bottom tray. For the 6-cell, you can fit about 7, possibly 8 of these. They're a little squeezed in the 10 by 20 bottom tray. So there you have it. We got the 4-cell Sili-Seedlings, the 10-cell Sili-Seedlings, and then the 6-cell Sili-Seedlings. These are the most economical option. These are best for high volume growers, and the 4-cell are best for growers who want to have larger plants before transplanting, as well as wanting to grow plants that are root vegetables or something that requires a bigger seed cell. So other than that, thanks for watching.